can't fit anything in here, and I can't find anything in here.
exactly.
Accurate.
That's the two sides.
Accurate.
Calling to order the Monday, December 20th, 2021 regular meeting of the 39th Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker, Mayor Pro Tem Dean,
Here.
Councilmember Gavin,
Here.
Councilmember Hennan,
Here.
Councilmember Price,
Here.
Councilmember Villani,
Here.
Mayor Turbrack.
Here. First order of business is the approval of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Support.
Motion made by Councilmember Gavin with support from Councilmember Hennan. Are there any changes or additions or subtractions? Okay. Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll?
Dean,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Villani,
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes. At this time, please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge. With us is Pastor Zach Dunlap.
Let's pray. Good and loving God, we come to you at the beginning of tonight's council proceedings grateful. Grateful to live, work, worship, and play in this wonderful community of Berkeley. Grateful for the light that has come into the world. Grateful for the generosity and grace that you have shown to each of us, not because of who we are, but because of who you are. At a time when so many gather together, we pray for the wisdom and resolve to spread hope and not COVID. The true light that gives light to all people is coming into the world. And while we, citizens of Berkeley, represent a myriad of different religious and spiritual traditions, I am personally grateful that Jesus was born amidst the darkness to shine the light. Empower us to shine the light in our own time and place. Amidst the oppression of racism and bigotry, the tension that comes from living in a culture that often places profit over people, and competing crises of pandemic, opioids, and mental health, remind us that no amount of darkness can extinguish the light of a single candle, and equip us to be beacons of hope, love, joy, and peace as we let your light shine through us. Guide our city council tonight, seasoned members and new. May their decisions increase the light in this community. And in their deliberations, may they be mindful of the fact that you love each and every one of them, and indeed each and every person on the face of this earth, just the same. There is nothing we can do to make you love us more. There is nothing we can do to make you love us less. And for that, we are eternally grateful. In the name of the one born in Bethlehem, I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will now move on to public comments per our normal rules and procedures. These are public comments for items that are not included on tonight's agenda. You will have an opportunity to speak on those agenda items as they are being considered. Remember, council members will not engage you in discussion, but if your concern needs to be addressed by a member of city staff or a department of the city, please sign in at the clerk's table. We have folks visiting with us in person. We have some other folks virtually, and we'll also have some communications if those were submitted to the clerk. So as we go through these, we'll start with folks that are here. Then I will call for the folks that are visiting with us virtually and have Ms. Mitchell read any communications she received. For those attending virtually, participants in the webcast can utilize the raise hand function by selecting Manage Participants on the bottom right of the dashboard, selecting More in the bottom right-hand corner. The moderator will call your name aloud and unmute you so that you can speak when it's your turn. If you have called in, you can be placed in queue for public comment by selecting *9, and the moderator will announce the last 4 digits of your phone number. Remember, you will have 3 minutes to speak, and you will be muted after that. At this time, we will begin public comments with those of the folks that are with us in person today. Sure, Regina, come on up.
Thank you. Oh. I mean, I was fine. I was fine with that there. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you in person. I believe this is my first time coming to a city council meeting in Berkeley in person. So it's great to see you all here. My name is Regina Weiss. I am the state representative for the 27th House District, which includes the communities of Berkeley, Huntington Woods, Oak Park, Ferndale, Pleasant Ridge, Royal Oak Township, and Hazel Park. Just wanted to kind of give a quick update on some things that are going on in Lansing right now and see if you have any questions or anything you want to convey or me to follow up on. And just a little bit more about me and my role in Lansing. I serve on the Committee on Appropriations and specifically as the Minority Vice Chair for the Subcommittee for School Aid and the Department of Education. And then I'm also on the subcommittees for Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, Licensing, Regulatory Affairs, and Insurance and Financial Services. I also serve as the Secretary of the Legislative Labor Caucus, and we've been very busy this year going across the state, doing tours of various labor training facilities and helping raise awareness about opportunities there, as well as participating in some actions across the state. And I serve as a member of the Gun Violence Prevention Caucus as well. And I just kind of wanted to start with recognizing and that this has been a really rough year, particularly a really rough last month for our communities around here in Oakland County after what happened in the Oxford community. And we've been doing a lot on the Gun Violence Prevention Caucus side to try to elevate some of the voices of those students and those who have been impacted and affected by that tragedy. And through the Gun Violence Prevention Caucus, throughout this year, we've put together several pieces of legislation. We've introduced over 30 pieces of legislation. One of them, a bill that I introduced, House Bill 4871, to ensure universal background checks, to make sure that every firearm purchased in the state requires a background check, which is not currently the case, as well as other pieces of legislation that we introduced around red flag laws and safe storage and many other things to help ensure that that we are making sure that we are keeping our communities and our schools safe. And all of the bills that have been introduced are currently sitting in different various committees, and we are working on some specific bills to try to move them through the committee process to actually get a hearing, because as of yet, we have not been able to have hearings on any of those bills. Also, just a quick budget update. I shouldn't say quick because it's kind of a lot. So I'm going to run through a list because there's a lot going on in the appropriations process. There's a lot going on with the budget. It's confusing, as I'm sure you all know, trying to keep track of all the various federal dollars and what's come through and what's been appropriated and what hasn't been appropriated. So I just want to highlight, first of all, some of the amazing things that we've been able to do through our regular fiscal year budget and the 2022 budget. Some things that we were able to get done. So the 2022 budget that we worked through in a bipartisan fashion with Governor Whitmer provides for a historic investment in childcare to ensure that families have access to that critical need, which we know is something that is also affecting our labor force right now. It fully funded the Michigan Reconnect and Future for Frontliners programs, again, to help provide training for people to further their education and get back into the workforce. Provides new investments in drinking water and contaminated site cleanups, which I know was a concern in our area in particular. It funds lead service line replacement, high water infrastructure, and dam safety grants. It includes funding for community revitalization grants to redevelop neighborhoods and support small businesses, which I love, by the way, this small business display that you guys have here. Whoever did that, kudos to you. It looks beautiful. I hope people at home can see it too. It invests in our infrastructure and funds over 100 local bridge projects. It contains a wage increase for direct care workers who have been on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is a very important one, I know, for this body. It increases revenue sharing by 2%, which is something we were happy to get done. I know you want a lot more than that. Revenue sharing's been cut pretty drastically throughout the years. And the governor had proposed a 4% increase. We're hoping to get more in the next cycle as well. But at least we were able to get something, which is more than we can say for budgets past. It ensures that our seniors receive the care that they need by supporting senior care facilities and expanding affordable care options. Invest in safety by funding local and state first responders, including proven police accountability measures like body cameras and professional development training. Has billions of dollars for federal dollars for use for Michigan families through mortgage assistance, home repair, water affordability, and energy assistance programs, which the county has been doing an excellent job partnering with and getting those dollars out. Includes funding for the Clean Slate program, allowing individuals to expunge their records and receive a fresh start to a better shot at a future employment and education. And it funds a new healthcare disparities initiative and expands Medicaid coverage to include sickle cell diseases and address healthcare inequity exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. So those are just some highlights from the general budget. And I will say really quickly too, on the school budget, which we passed separately back in June, the K-12 budget, that also was a historic budget. We invested more than we ever have in K-12 education. And for the first time ever, we were able to close the funding gap between the districts that receive the most and the least funding. Now every district receives the same amount of per pupil foundation allowance, which has been a goal since 1994, and we were able to do that this year. And we were also able to increase the foundation allowance overall so that every district receives $8,700 per pupil. And we are also able to expand the Great Start Readiness Program, which is our Michigan pre-K program, to ensure that every eligible 4-year-old in the state has a slot. And we also increased funding for that to $8,700 per pupil. So now that it is equal with K-12. Now that we're at equal, we want to keep working to get to equitable to make sure that we're funding based on need and also that we have adequate funding for schools as well. But it was a big step in the right direction. So those are just some quick highlights. We are looking forward to continuing our work on the 2023 budget, which we have already begun. I've met with Manager Baumgarten to talk about some of Berkeley priorities in that regard to make sure we're elevating those in the budget process. And we're also working on continuing to try to appropriate the remaining federal dollars. We have about $8 billion-ish unappropriated of federal money that we're still trying to get out. And there have been various proposals of ways to spend that money from portions of that money from a climate resiliency plan for infrastructure that came out of the Senate, which I think is a great something that I think would benefit a lot of our committees. There's funding for teacher recruitment and teacher retention, for police and public safety recruitment and retention, and as well as what I think is most critical right now, ensuring that our hospitals have the resources that they need as they are facing really the worst part of this pandemic. Unfortunately, none of those proposals have made their way through both the House and the Senate to the governor's desk, but we will continue to work on those when we come back from the legislative break in January. And so that was just a really quick overview. I want to just say to anyone watching at home, if you ever need to get in touch with my office for anything at all, if you have an issue that you care about, or if you have any needs from unemployment insurance assistance or any other things that you need help with, you can email me at reginaweis@house.mi.gov or call my office at 855-737-9488. And if you would like to sign up to receive email updates, you can do so at weiss.housedems.com. And if you guys have any questions, I don't know if you do that right now because it's public comment, but if you have questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
It is, but when we have special guests here, we can dispense a little bit with the formality. Are there any questions for our representative while she's here?
No questions, just gratitude. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Thank you as a former city council member for recognizing the needs that we have municipalities and sharing that voice, bring that voice to the table in Lansing as well. And as a former teacher, educator, thank you for valuing the schools and making sure that they are getting resources that they so desperately need.
Thank you, council member. I appreciate that. All right.
Well, and thank you, Regina, for being with us, coming this evening. I know it's been tough to get together in person, so I appreciate you taking some time And you picked a nice agenda. Not a super full house either.
I'm-
to
yeah, I'm
ask
sorry.
you any questions on your way out.
Sorry to make your, what looks like a short meeting a little bit longer.
So see, well, now you just ruined it all for me. That is the kiss of death. But thank you, Regina.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays.
You too. Here's our little elf right now.
I've got something to say. No, season's greetings to this honorable body. Mike McGinnis, Executive Director of your Berkeley Downtown Development Authority. Just very briefly want to thank you and the entire Berkeley community for your continuing support of our downtown Berkeley retailers this holiday season. Many of our independent small business owners that are located along Coolidge and 12 Mile are banking on this holiday season to be able to make it and survive throughout the balance of the year. So every dollar that you're investing into your downtown small businesses allows them to keep being part of the dynamic fabric of this community. And as we're talking to prospective business owners who might relocate here to Berkeley, and we have a lot of wins to be able to celebrate as a community, and I'm grateful for you that are able to come to ribbon cuttings and et cetera. I'm looking forward to more coming soon. But it's able to be a selling point about how Berkeley cares and how the residents really rally around those businesses that invest and choose Berkeley as their business home. So in these final days, final shopping days of the holiday season, please recommit and redouble and serve as ambassadors, even if they're selling wares or experiences that aren't personally for you or your family. You can evangelize and share that fascinating opportunity for those that are in your personal network, and it really manifests. We're hearing that from our business owners. We've been able to secure a lot of media coverage, so independently of focusing on a specific business or more broadly downtown Berkeley, and we hear a lot of positive feedback about how that translates to actual sales. So you as community leaders and also the entire Berkeley community, you can continue to dial that up and scale that up to benefit downtown Berkeley. Our final Merry and Bright shopping night is this Thursday, December 23rd, where a lot of retailers are staying open late on that Thursday. We've been doing that throughout the month of December. And we have a Merry Fairies scavenger hunt using a smartphone app. You can hunt for the fairy doors that are located throughout downtown Berkeley businesses and win prizes, and do that in a socially distanced, family fun way on your own timeline through the remainder of December. So with that, just wanted to thank you again. Thank you to the Berkeley community for shopping small, starting on Small Business Saturday at the end of November and barreling through until the last possible moment. The downtown Berkeley retailers would love to be able to cater to you, and they have a lot less supply chain issues or delivery issues because you can get it manifest physically right on the spot. So thank you, God bless you, and season's greetings.
Thank you, Mike. Same to you. Let's see, Mr. Liska, let's move to the hybrid. Any public comments?
There is nobody raising their hand so far right now.
All right, well, let's give everybody a second. It appears you have a big crowd with you this evening as well, so just in case. They're looking for that raise hand function and managing participants, or they're on the phone, hitting *9. No?
Nope.
Okay. Ms. Mitchell, did you have any correspondence that you would like to, or that was sent to you to read into public comments?
I do.
Okay.
Joel Alfertz, Berkeley resident, stated he is looking for a response to correspondence sent earlier this month to one of our consultants asking for a schedule for road improvements. He said his street was on the Phase 2 list for completion in late fall.
Okay. For a response, okay. Any additional communications?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. We will close public comments. We move on to our order of business this evening. First up is our consent agenda. Ms. Mitchell, would you please read the items on tonight's consent agenda?
1, approval of the minutes. Matter of approving the minutes of the 39th regular city council meeting on Monday, December 6, 2021. 2, warrant. Matter of approving warrant number 1369.
Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Price with support from Mayor Pro Tem Dean. Are there any corrections, questions, or changes to our consent agenda? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll on tonight's consent agenda?
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Valani,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes. We now move on to our regular agenda. Would you please read item number 1?
Recognitions, presentations, matter of any recognitions or presentations from the consent agenda.
Seeing no recognitions or presentations, we move on to item number 2, please.
Motion number M7721, motion to approve the appointment to various boards and commissions.
Is there a motion to approve M7721?
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Councilmember Hennan with support from Mayor Pro Tem Dean. Mr. Baumgart?
Mr. Mayor, this evening you have one appointment put forth to you. This comes to you by way of the tree board. The tree board officers have reviewed the application as well as the council liaison. Ms. Soteric is being put forth as a student member to this board with the term expiring July 1st, 2022. So we thank her for applying, and as you see from her application material, this is an area of interest for her, and the tree board is excited to have her on and excited to see her get to do something that she hopefully turns into a career in her later life.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from council? Councilmember Hennan?
Yeah, I'll just mention Ms. Soteric comes highly recommended to us from one of our other members, and I'm really looking forward to working with her.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other comments? I too would like to welcome Ms. Soteric and thank her for volunteering to serve our community, especially in a student capacity. Sometimes it's not as easy to find student members because they have so many things going on and it's such an incredibly busy time. And I know that her time is valuable, and I certainly appreciate that she's willing to spend some of it with our community to try to improve in any way that we can. Without any additional questions or comments, Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll on M7721?
Hennan,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Valani,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes. Ms. Mitchell, would you please read item number 3 on tonight's agenda?
Motion number M7821, matter of considering an update to Berkeley's merit system of human resource management.
Is there a motion to approve M7821?
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Councilmember Valani with support from Councilmember Gavin. Mr. Baumgarten?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In your packet includes a copy of that document itself with the highlighted changes, also a memo that itemizes each of the substantive changes to the document. As a little bit of context, this year has been the year of labor negotiations. We had fantastic negotiations with both the command and patrol divisions of our public safety union. We had some very good conversations and made some substantive changes to our agreements with our public works directors. The third piece of that puzzle is the remaining employees, which are covered under what we call the merit system. So this is essentially is a local bargaining unit for our employees. This document guarantees and outlines the rights as employees, as well as the benefits that they have afforded to them as employees of the city of Berkeley. So what we did to bring this forth to you today is convened a committee earlier this year. This committee was made up of merit system employees from each of our various departments. They went through the existing documents, which had not been updated since 2016. They made both substantive and non-substantive changes. As I say in touting this document, it is the most user-friendly version. They took special attention on collecting items that were similar information and putting them together in a way that any of our employees, new or old, can pick up and say, I need to look up this item and what's available to me. Everything is placed conveniently in one single paragraph or location. So that's going to be one of the big benefits to this, in addition to the existing benefit changes that are included and outlined in the memo below. So I want to really say thank you to Matt Church, who headed that committee for us, as well as all the members. There were several, but they spent hours is not an overstatement. They spent hours working on this in service of their fellow employees, and their fellow employees should be very proud of the work that they did. So excitedly bring this forth to you this evening and look forward to making changes in the future. We already know there's a couple of items that we're talking about for future changes as well. Just as thoughts and mindsets evolve, so too should this document and our approach to our employees as well. So So a final version will be disseminated to all of our employees once we go through and make sure that it's finally free of any potential typos. We'll take out some of the formatting that indicates previous versions and the highlighting and all that great stuff. But it's probably some point tomorrow. Our employees will have the new document in hand and ready to implement it as of roughly the first of the year.
All right, thank you. Questions for the city manager as we look at updates to the merit system? Councilmember Price?
More comments than questions, but I wanted to thank Director Church and all of the employees from the various departments who contributed to these updates. I think many of them were fantastic, and I just wanted to highlight 3 in particular that I was especially excited to see. Updating the section about Berkeley being an equal employment opportunity provider with that language from the city's non-discrimination policy that was updated in 2019. It was great to see that more inclusive language representing that we are a welcoming community. I was impressed with that the new options for flexible schedules and remote work arrangements better reflect the world that we live in and the ways in which the nature of work has changed. And I also especially appreciated that the traditional maternity leave was much more expanded into family leave, and it's much more inclusive now, does a better job of recognizing the needs of all kinds of families. So thank you, Director Church and the committee for recommending those and so many other good additions and improvements to the merit system.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I didn't mean to. Councilmember Villani.
I'd like to echo Council Member Price's comments on the changes to the maternity leave policy to paid family leave. As someone who has spent many years in human resources and working with employees and also recruiting, I know that pieces like that are a great way to help recruit and retain talent in the city, and also recognize the fact that we have different families and different family needs depending on where you are in your stages of life. So I really like that. Overall, thought the group did a really great job. It's a very comprehensive, it has a lot of progressive mindsets in there that mirror what some other organizations are doing. So I thought it was a great job there.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? No? Well, I too would like to thank everybody who was involved in this. As we see on the first page, you can see when things have been changed and adopted in here. And as the city manager mentioned, we will continue to look at this moving forward with folks that are a part of this system to make sure that it is fair in all cases and that we continue to be as inclusive and as things in our world change, being open to make sure that we can change as well to allow our folks to continue working in the best way. And just the time that went into this, we have all seen it, but if you haven't seen this document, it's very clear that there was a lot of concern and care and effort taking into getting it before us this evening. That does not just happen. With that, Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll on M7821?
Price,
Yes.
Villani,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes. Ms. Mitchell, would you please read item number 4 on tonight's agenda?
Motion number M7921, matter of considering participation in the national opioid settlement and authorize the city manager to sign the participation agreements on the city's behalf.
Is there a motion to approve M7921?
So moved.
Support.
Motion made by Councilmember Hennan, I think
And there was
supported by
support.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean. I believe I heard that.
You did.
Mr. Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A lot of credit goes to the MML, who in the state of Michigan has been helping municipalities navigate this potential settlement. They do this in conjunction with the State Attorney General's office. So the two of them together have been getting the word out. They put together the slideshow that's available in your packet here that kind of goes part by part, why this is important, what the process looks like. and as well as why municipalities should be considering participating in this particular agreement. So there are 2 participation agreements before you this evening, both collectively under the settlement. There is one for Johnson & Johnson / Janssen, which is a manufacturer of opioids, and then there is one that's collectively referred to as the distributors agreement, which covers Amerisource, Cardinal, and McKesson. Each of those were opioid distributors. So there is in total about $26 billion to be paid over 18 years across this entire settlement. There are a couple of assumptions here, but it looks like the city of Berkeley's potential share of that would only be about $3,500 annually for those 18 years, with a total of just under $65,000. So it's not nothing. It certainly pales in comparison to the effect that these substances have had on families across the state of Michigan, city of Berkeley, as well as the nation. But some of the ways that we could potentially use it or one of the categories in which we could use it is items that provide funding resources for the prevention of opioid abuse, which is an important item. And we're blessed to have 2 different organizations working towards those very goals here in our community as well. So ultimately, what the item asks is that any pursuant actions that need to take place, including registering for this, can be handled by myself on behalf of the city, with a looming deadline of January 2nd in place for Michigan municipalities to register that they are going to be participating in this settlement. So that's the item that's before you this evening. Thankfully, the city attorneys had the opportunity to review this as well, and this has been a big topic of discussion across many municipalities, and it seems to be the right move for the city of Berkeley at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, anything else you'd like to
No, I think the city manager covered it well. This is an opt-in type of class action settlement, which means we do need to take this action tonight in order to participate.
Any questions for either our attorney or manager?
I guess I would love to hear the 2 organizations in our community who are working to prevent opioid abuse that might partially benefit from this money if we receive it.
Sure, we've got the Berkeley Huntington Woods Youth Assistance. They do great work within our schools, and then the Tri-Communities Coalition as well. Also, as it covers our 3 communities that are also covered by the school district. So, doing fantastic work and trying to steer kids away from decisions that could have lasting impacts on their lives.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any additional questions or comments? Again, as has been explained by the manager and the attorney, we would like to be part of this. We are opting in here. As was mentioned, there's $28 billion is not coming to us. It would be potentially roughly about $3,500 over a period of years. Again, something that we need to be, if we want to be a part of, we have to take action on it this evening, which is why it was brought before us. Seeing no additional questions or comments, Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll on M 7921?
Valani,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes. Communications already?
Go figure.
Ms. Mitchell, I'll let you choose.
Mayor Pro Tem Dean.
Okay.
Thank you. Maybe. So I have a Parks and Recreation update. Parks and Rec is offering a vacation camp through this week, so through December 30th, and you can still register for the week beginning, well, now, or the week, the 27th, so next week. If you're already in now, you're good. If you want to extend till the 30th, you can still do that. If you haven't already, consider taking a stroll through the lighted arch tunnel near the community center. Check out the new play equipment at Community Park, which should be installed by the end of this week. So lots to see over there. And basically that wraps up a very busy and highly successful 2021 for Parks and Recreation in Berkeley. And I would just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I wish that it is merry and full of light. And thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gavin.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Planning Commission meeting that was scheduled for tomorrow has been canceled. The next meeting will be January 25th at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. And the Environmental Advisory Committee will meet next on January 20th at 6:30 on the second floor conference room of the Public Safety Building. And I would also like to wish everyone a wonderful holiday, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Villani.
Well, Mike McGinnis already stole my thunder with the Berkeley Area Chamber Mary Ferry scavenger hunt, but that is still going on, and he said it's so much better, so we'll let him have that one. And I will just, actually, one other thing, I want to thank all of the volunteers and the people that lead the Berkeley Community Food Pantry. They had not only their regular donations that they were giving out on Saturday, but then they did a special holiday community box, and I believe they helped over 26, 27 families, I believe, with food for the holidays. So I know my family and I enjoyed putting together the box to help some others have a good holiday. So just thank you to all the hard work that goes into that, because I know that's going to make the holidays for a lot of people much brighter this year.
Thank you. Councilmember Price.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Turbick. I want to focus tonight on thanking the city staff who are wrapping up yet another calendar year during a global pandemic. Some things have changed since this time last year. All staff members are now eligible for the COVID vaccine. Our public buildings are open and many staff members are working in person. And thanks in part to the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan Act, we don't have the same fears for our city's budget as we did this time last year. But nevertheless, the daily numbers of new COVID cases in our area have not fallen, and our healthcare system's weaknesses are now more apparent than ever. Working in this prolonged state of stress takes a toll on everyone. And while I'm so grateful for all of the incredible work that our city employees did this past year, especially the work outside the scope of their job descriptions, I so very much wish that the state of our world did not require that they do it. So my holiday wish for our city employees and for all members of our community is that we can carve out time to unplug, unwind, and create opportunities for genuine restorative peace. Take time to rest, not simply in order to be more productive later, but for the sake of rest itself. You and our community will be stronger for it. Wishing you a happy and restful holiday break. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hennon.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing new from the tree board. The Zoning Board of Appeals met last week to hear a case about a duplex that allowed its grandfathered status to lapse. We have it in our ordinances a 6-month time limit where if a use is left unused, then the grandfathered use expired, and that happened in this case. However, the restriction isn't consistent with case law, and so that, among other reasons, the property was allowed to remain a duplex. This inconsistency with our ordinance and the time frame and case law is something we're going to need to revisit as we look at our zoning ordinances. Then the ZBA do have cases for January, and they'll meet again on January 11th at 7 p.m. And then just a quick city vaccination update. As of November 8th, 83% of Berkeley adults have had at least their first vaccine dose, and that's up 2% from the previous month. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker. Mr. Lysica, whenever you're ready.
And let's see.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I can't be there in person, and I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share a few quick thoughts as we head into the new year. It was Ginger Rogers who once said, "Looking back at my life's voyage, I can only say that it has been a golden trip." I'd like to celebrate some of Berkeley's 2021 voyage. Our historical committee had another historic year. It celebrated the 30th anniversary of the museum, scanned hundreds of historic photos and materials, created another treasured holiday ornament, began a successful new quarterly newsletter, hosted countless visitors from near and far, and they're now able to accept credit cards too. I'd like to thank the committee's volunteers and the city staff for all that they do to help preserve the past and chronicle our future. Our Downtown Development Authority, DDA, had a tremendously developing year as well. There was great progress on our wayfinding signs throughout the downtown. We thanked our outgoing director, Jennifer Finney, and welcomed our new director, Mike McGinnis. We greeted many new businesses to our downtown this year, and we hosted the first ever Berkeley month-long event. And of course, the Merry Month activities continue and going strong. I'd like to thank the DDA board, all of the volunteers on the various subcommittees, and city staff for helping to keep our downtown vibrant and thriving and growing. And if you do need to make any last-minute shopping, please remember that our downtown has free parking. Please come downtown, park, walk around, and enjoy Berkeley. You know, Santa is the only other one who gets free parking, but he gets it everywhere. It's on the house. Happy holidays. Stay safe, everyone. Cheers.
Councilmember Baker was not confident in my ability to deliver that line, so he decided he opted to do a video just so that it did not get missed. I actually had no problem. I think I could have pulled that one off. But thank you, Councilmember Baker. Mr. Baumgarten.
It's certainly difficult to follow, but I will endeavor to do so. I'd like to start off by thanking the City Council. I appreciate your, Natalie Price, Councilmember Price, your very kind words about staff. We would also like to say thank you to the council. This has been an incredibly trying now 2 years of moving through this, and we could not have done most of what we were able to do without knowing that the City Council would support us and provide the resources needed and for us to be flexible in our service delivery, and we were able to do so with your support and with your help. So thank you very much for that, and sincerely hope this is the last year we'll have to thank you for extenuating circumstances, and we'll just go back to thanking you for the regular circumstances. That would be nice as well. This being our last meeting of 2021, a couple of changes coming up and how our residents can view these meetings. We will have a number of different options available to you in person through the through the city's channel on WBRK, also through our live stream, but we will not be doing the hybrid meetings in 2022. A couple of reasons why, but we'll have to bring that particular offering to a close. So we'd love to see more people take advantage of it. We'd hoped taking the hurdle of coming here in person away, we would have a lot more people engage with us. But thankfully, people have found other means to do so, whether it's reaching out on phone or in person or via email. So we feel confident that no one is losing an opportunity that they otherwise had this year. But it was nice to offer it. It was nice to try it, and we hope that someday in the future, perhaps there's a greater demand for it, and we can bring it back. So that is a big. That'll be a change for 2022. Hopefully, there are a lot of other changes in the world as well. But hope springs eternal, and we're looking at you, 22.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell, do you have anything this evening?
No, other than to echo the words of thanks and wish everyone a happy holiday and a healthy new year.
Thank you. Mr. Stern.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm just, no specific comments, but I've been reflecting on
the house?
no, not,
on the
I'm
roof,
trying to
yeah.
unhear that one, actually. but just reflecting on everybody's comments and one that Matt Baumgarten just made, and it just seems like it was only a year ago that sitting here and couldn't wait for 2020 to end, and now I'm feeling the same way about 2021. So let's hope for some improvement as we go on. And I just want to join and echo everybody else's comments too. About I hope everybody has a merry and safe and healthy Christmas. And again, let's hope for bigger and better things in 2022.
Well, thank you, and I too remember being, here saying, well, 2021 is here, and it can't be worse than 2020, and I can't say that it was worse, but it wasn't a whole lot better, unfortunately, despite, the vaccine, especially the rates that Councilmember Hennon referenced earlier, at least in Berkeley. But this virus continues to change and adapt and find new ways to disrupt normalcy. On the positive side, we persevered through 2020 and 2021, and we will continue to do so in 2022. And if we need to get creative, we will certainly do that, but we will make sure that we maintain the business of the city, we maintain the high-quality services that our residents expect, even if sometimes they look a little bit different, and we will do so in a manner that keeps everybody safe, certainly including our staff and those that are out on the front lines. I, too, want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and wish you all safety this holiday season. We will see you sometime in January, and that is pending the events of 12/31. Look, in the interest of transparency, if Michigan wins, we're not having a meeting on the 10th. I can just tell you that's going to happen. I'm sorry, we're not. It'll be on the 11th. It'll be a different day. Should they not be successful on the 31st, I will see you all on January 10th. But let's hope that we don't have that happen. Other than that, please enjoy the holiday season. I don't know if I can do that, but I did it. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2022, hopefully later, sooner. With that, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Everybody wants to get out of here today. Ms. Mitchell, dealer's choice. You can choose whoever you like for that motion and support. Are you happy?
Yes,
Who'd you choose, just so we can...
Councilmember Villani and Councilmember Hennon for
Motion made by Councilmember Villani, supported by Councilmember Hennon.
I'll give it to Councilmember Price.
That's an early Christmas present for you. Put it on the board. The December 20th final meeting of 2021 of the 39th Council of the City of Berkeley is adjourned.